Have you ever felt like the world is spinning faster and faster and it's getting harder to keep your footing? We see headlines about global crises, social upheaval, and a general sense of unease that seems to be growing every day. Many people are looking for answers, for a sign, for something solid to hold on to in these uncertain times. In Christian prophecy, this period is often referred to as the end times. And while that phrase can sound scary, it's really about a time of great decision, a time when our faith is tested and purified. Today I want to talk about something that might seem simple, almost overlooked, but which the Bible presents as a crucial key to navigating these times: the Sabbath. Now you might be thinking, the Sabbath? Isn't that just an old rule about not working on Saturday? And yes, that's part of it. But it's so much more than just a day off. To truly understand its importance, we need to go back to the very beginning. In the book of Genesis, right after creating the world in 6 days, what did God do? He rested on the seventh day. He blessed it and made it holy. This wasn't because God was tired. It was to establish a memorial of His creative power, a weekly appointment for humanity to connect with Him, our Creator. The Sabbath is a gift, a sacred space and time designed for rest, worship, and relationship with God. Fast forward to Mount Sinai when God gives the 10 Commandments. Right there, in the heart of His eternal law, is the 4th commandment: remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. This isn't just a suggestion. It's a command to remember. Why? Because God knew we would be prone to forget. In our busy lives, it's easy to get so caught up in our work, our ambitions, and our anxieties that we forget who made us and who sustains us. The Sabbath is our weekly reset button. It's a deliberate act of setting aside our own efforts and acknowledging our dependence on God. It's a declaration that our value doesn't come from what we produce, but from who we belong to. This brings us to the core of our topic: the connection between the Sabbath and end-time faith. The book of Revelation, which is filled with prophecy about the end times, talks about a final conflict that revolves around worship. Revelation 14 describes 2 opposing groups. One group receives the mark of the beast and worships the beast and its image. The other group, described as God's faithful people, are those who keep the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. Notice the emphasis on keeping God's commandments. This is not about earning salvation through works, but about demonstrating our love and loyalty to God. Jesus said, "If you love me, keep my commandments." Obedience is the natural fruit of a heart transformed by love, and the Sabbath commandment is a central part of that law. Let's look closer at the symbolism. The final conflict described in Revelation is a battle over who we worship. Will we worship the Creator, the one who made heaven and earth, the sea, and everything in them? Or will we worship a human-made system, a power that sets itself up in place of God? The call in Revelation 14 to worship Him who made heaven and earth is a direct echo of the 4th commandment, which tells us to keep the Sabbath holy as a memorial of creation. So, the Sabbath becomes a sign, a mark of allegiance to the Creator. By choosing to honor the day God set apart, we are publicly declaring whose side we are on. We are acknowledging God's authority over our lives and over all creation. Conversely, the mark of the beast is presented as a counterfeit system of worship. Throughout history, powers have risen that have sought to change God's law, specifically His times and laws, as prophesied in the book of Daniel. By accepting a substitute day of worship, one established by human authority rather than divine command, people unknowingly pay homage to that human power instead of the Creator. It's a subtle but profound shift in allegiance. The issue isn't about a specific day of the week in isolation. It's about the authority behind it. Are we following God's clear command or the traditions of men? Think of it like a king's seal. A seal contains 3 elements: the king's name, his title, and his territory. The Sabbath commandment is the only one of the 10 that contains all 3 elements of God as seal. His name, the Lord your God; his title, Creator, the one who made; his territory, heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them. The Sabbath is God's official seal on His law, a sign of His authority and ownership. In the final days, the world will be asked to choose between God's seal of authority and the beast's mark of rebellion. This choice won't be made in a vacuum. It will require immense faith. The Bible predicts a time when those who remain loyal to God's commandments will face intense pressure and persecution. There might be economic sanctions, social ostracism, or even worse. It will be unpopular, inconvenient, and potentially dangerous to stand for God's truth. This is where the Sabbath becomes a key preparation for our faith. How? Because keeping the Sabbath each week is an exercise in faith and trust. When we stop our work, we are trusting that God will provide for our needs. We are letting go of our own control and resting in His sovereignty. We are prioritizing our relationship with Him above the demands of the world. Each week that we choose to honor the Sabbath, we are strengthening our faith muscles. We are learning to depend on God in small ways so that when the big tests come, our faith will be strong enough to stand. The Sabbath is also a foretaste of the eternal rest that God promises His people. The book of Hebrews talks about a Sabbath rest for the people of God. This weekly rest points us forward to our ultimate home in heaven, where we will be free from the toil, stress, and sin of this world. It's a weekly reminder of our hope and our destination. In the midst of end-time chaos, this hope is an anchor for the soul. It gives us the perspective and the strength to endure, knowing that our present troubles are temporary, but our rest with God is eternal. So, the Sabbath is not just a relic of the past. It is a vital, living truth with profound implications for our lives today and for the future. It is a sign of our relationship with the Creator, a seal of His authority, a weekly exercise in faith and trust, and a promise of our eternal future. It is a key that unlocks a deeper understanding of God's character and His plan for humanity. As we see the world moving toward its final crisis, the question of worship will become the most important question of all. Who has your allegiance? Who do you worship? By rediscovering the beauty and significance of God's holy Sabbath, we can prepare our hearts, strengthen our faith, and stand firm for the Creator in the face of the world's greatest test. It's an invitation from God to enter into His rest, to know Him more deeply, and to be sealed as His own. Thank you for watching. If this message resonated with you, please like, share, and subscribe for more content that explores Bible truth. God bless.